Georgie Cooper's journey in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage has quickly become one of the most intriguing character arcs in the Big Bang Theory universe. Fans have watched him go from a rebellious teen in Young Sheldon to a young father trying to build a stable future for his family. But one big event in Season 1, Georgie buying Jim's tire store, raises major questions about continuity when compared to what we learned about his future in the Big Bang Theory. In many ways, this move completely rearranges the narrative that the original series established for him. In the Big Bang Theory, Georgie is portrayed as the entrepreneurial sibling. He grows up to own a successful chain of tire stores in Texas and works extremely hard to build his wealth after feeling overlooked and underappreciated during childhood. Sheldon himself acknowledges in the main series that Georgie is successful, even bragworthy, with financial independence coming from his own determination. The way Sheldon describes it, Georgie built his business up from the ground, fueled by work ethic and a chip on his shoulder. But that's not exactly what Georgie and Mandy's first marriage shows us. Instead of building a tire business on his own, Georgie ends up buying Jim's store, taking over an already established operation. It's a major shift because it essentially removes the underdog narrative that fans once believed shaped Georgie's path to success. In the Big Bang Theory, Sheldon's success is rooted in brilliance, while Georgie's is rooted in hustle. He didn't need to be a genius. He needed grit. Now, the spin-off suggests that Georgie just happened to be in the right place at the right time, inheriting opportunity rather than creating it. That doesn't mean it's a bad story. It's actually compelling television, but it does alter how audiences interpret Georgie's growth. Buying Jim's store paints Georgie less as a builder and more as someone catching a lucky break. Considering how much the Big Bang Theory emphasized that Georgie resented Sheldon for being treated like the golden child, his business success originally served as proof that he could still make something of himself without having his intelligence celebrated. Now, first marriage risks making that achievement seem less earned. Another major issue is that Georgie is still very young in this spinoff, essentially a teenager handling adulthood at hyperspeed. Taking ownership of a business this early shifts the timeline dramatically compared to what the Big Bang Theory hinted at. The original show implied that Georgie took years to build himself up, learning through tough experiences and failures that helped mold his confidence. In contrast, the spin-off shows him jumping straight into adulthood, becoming a business owner, a husband, and a father before he has even fully matured. Yes, Georgie is working hard to provide for Mandy and Cece, but he hasn't had the arc of hard-earned growth yet. Instead of experiencing failure before success, his success may be arriving too soon, making it difficult for the series to realistically portray the struggles that should shape him into the man fans eventually meet through Sheldon's stories. This creative choice doesn't completely negate Georgie's Big Bang Theory future, but it forces the writers of First Marriage to fill in the gaps later. They must show a rise that feels earned, challenges that test Georgie professionally, success that reflects his drive, not just his circumstance. There's another detail that matters: how Georgie buying Jim's store repositions his relationship with his father. In the Big Bang Theory, Georgie mentions that he stepped up financially after George Sr. died, supporting the Cooper family because someone had to. That level of sacrifice was a defining part of his adulthood. But with Georgie already owning a store and earning steady money, the narrative shift means he may not face the same desperation and responsibility in the same way. It changes the emotional backstory that once shaped him into someone admirable. However, there's a silver lining to all of this. First Marriage is giving Georgie something he lacked in the Big Bang Theory: character visibility. Georgie was mostly a side reference in the main series, someone talked about rather than someone who had a voice. Now, the audience gets to see his struggle up close, his insecurities, his mistakes, and his growth as a partner and father. That makes his story more relatable, even if it doesn't perfectly align with what fans originally assumed. Ultimately, Georgie buying Jim's store doesn't ruin continuity, it simply alters it. The spin-off writers are clearly making choices that focus on family over perfect canon alignment. They want Georgie's story to feel real and emotionally grounded, and owning a business gives him an immediate source of conflict and responsibility. It creates drama. It creates stakes. And it shows that Georgie is doing everything he can to prove he's not the screw-up many once believed him to be. Still, it's fair to say that fans who care deeply about continuity have a point. Georgie's success shouldn't feel too easy. The man we hear about in The Big Bang Theory is someone who built an empire, emphasis on built. So if Georgie and Mandy's first marriage wants to stay true to that version, future episodes must show the grind behind the gain. If they do that, if they let Georgie struggle, fail, learn, and rebuild, his eventual success will still feel earned. And when the story eventually catches up to The Big Bang Theory, we'll look back and see more than just a kid who bought a store. We'll see a young man who stepped up, took risks, and turned a single opportunity into a future he fought hard to secure. For more videos, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel.